Okay, so I got another one of these dev progress videos. I was originally playing MechWarrior, trying to do some downtime, and I went like, let's get back to coding. I got some models now. Modeler actually produced the models and got them to me. Small problem, scaling issue. Yeah, the grappling hook is massive. Yeah, I wish I could zoom out to even just show this. Actually, I think I can throw it real quick. Look how big that is. Let's just back up a little bit here. I think I'm out of render range now. There we go. I wish I could get the render range to be higher so I could see the hook. But yeah, scaling problems. I'm gonna fix this really quick, but this happens normally. It's actually not abnormal. So if you ever load a model into Minecraft and you want to render a 3D model in the hand, do not expect it to be scaled properly the first time you use it. So we're going to play with scaling numbers real quick, and I want to show you how to do this. Well, I'm just going to do it, and then you guys can just kind of watch, as I'm not going to really explain a lot of what's going on. Actually, I just copied the wrong method. What I want to do is, I copied this code from the rocket launcher. The rocket launcher is scaled properly for the sake that I'm using my model loader, and my model loaders pre-scale everything down for me. In this case, I'm using Forge's model loader, which is going to import it at the exact size that whatever the model is supposed to be. So we're going to scale. So we want to do first person to start with. And that thing was probably, I want to say, we can probably use the scaling factor. This is a number that you just kind of want to memorize when working with things. I'm curious if my microphone could pick that wind up outside, because I just heard a lawn chair fly by my window. The only reason I heard it is it bounced off the fence outside. Damn, this weather's really fucking with things. Okay, shoot, that didn't work. Oh yeah, because I'm in third person. Let's go ahead and we're gonna copy this scale to everything, because I think it will work right off the back. Most of Morton models I import are they work with this, because the scaling ratio between most model editors and Minecraft is it's still big. It's not supersized big, but it's still big. It's kind of cool, actually. Actually, really impressive. We'll add another 0. It'll probably fix. So we're in equipment mode. Nope, that is totally not what I want. So we want, well, for starters, I want to cache my scale value. So float, scale. Last thing I want to do is be sitting here adjusting all 3 of those values to get it to work. Instead, I can put it in here, and if we make it a final, then Java will inline it for us. At least that's what it's supposed to do. Reality of it is, inlining is, I wouldn't say random, it's most important to least important, and this is, I guess this is kind of this class will be run a lot. Let's divide this by 4, and we'll get close. Yeah, that's it's not bad. That's a little small. We're gonna do 3 instead. Yeah, that's about the right size. Probably gonna have to talk to Morton about why these are scaled so poorly. And we want to get rid of all this part, because I copied that code from the rocket launcher because I didn't want to work on doing this myself right away. So now we need to get our actual positioning data. This is where I kind of wish I could view somebody else holding this, because it would be so much easier to rotate. Okay, so we need to get the rotation correct first. Let's copy these real quick and see where we get with those. Actually, let's comment out this one, and we'll do the yaw rotation first. Okay, and And an easy way I can do this so we're not flipping back and forth is I can put that on that side, this on that side, and then cascade that window down. And we can sit here and edit this, and I want to say this actually needs to be 110. Really close. Almost dead on, actually. It needs to go over by another 30 degrees, or 20 degrees. Yep, perfect. As I said, when you work on models, I mean, do models a lot, you eventually get used to what these should be just by understanding what the plane is. It's nothing special. Like, I'm not doing anything special in my head. I'm not visualizing like a render angle around the player. I'm not doing anything on that. You'll actually get people that will say they do that. The reality is they're all guessing. They've got some kind of mental model where they go, okay, that's about right. Me, I just know that there is angles between those. Thing is, I don't really need to do anything else with this. Actually, I kind of do need to angle it down. The reason I say that is I'm actually going to change how the player holds the grappling hook, maybe. Actually, I'm not going to do that, because what I was going to do is I was going to make the player hold it out like a bow, and I'm realizing I don't really need that. It would look a little bit better by it being down here a little bit. Let's go ahead and remove this. I just want it to be pointing out straight. Cool thing is I get it to rotate so it's always pointing where you're aiming at. We'll actually do a note for that later. Have rotation match aiming point. That's too much work to deal with right now. But what we do need to do is translate it backwards a little bit. So we'll go here, and I want to zero these all out because we only need to move backwards, and I want to say backwards is this axis. Nope, that was not it. Now this is the part I don't have a good instinct for when it comes to translating model movement, because Minecraft has already translated these, and on top of that we've rotated it. So once you rotate something, the translation math gets all screwed up. Okay, it is this method I want, or that negative. If we can get it like that, and I can get this precise. Oh, shoot, I forgot the F. Luckily this isn't Eclipse. Eclipse would have crashed right there, and then I would have had to go back to screwing with things. Or had to reload up code here. Luckily IntelliJ does an auto-compile system, and it messes with things for me. That looks perfect. It just needs to go down ever so slightly, and it is almost impossible to tell that. This will work. I forgot we can look from the front. So this is where I need to adjust this down by 5, and when I do this, I'm probably going to have to adjust the other values real quick. Yes, reload. Let's do 0.6. That's too high. We want 0.4. Looks about right. Here, I'm thinking this is a live stream. I was about to ask you guys if you thought it was all right, and I realized I'm just recording for YouTube right now. Yeah, it looks good. Now one thing I need to really do with it, and I won't do this today, it'll be probably down like a week or so down the road, is make it where if you see another player holding this, you'll be able to see where he's aiming with the grappling hook. But I think I'm going to have to take control of the arm renderer for that, which I'll do later. I don't even think I want to know what that game is. I think it's actually a shooter game if I've seen it before. Okay, so now we get to do the fun part. Fixing the first person renderer. This is where it gets kind of tricky, because I can't see it at all, which means I have to get the translation working first. I've actually worked in these translations before, and I've had to, that works. I was about to say, I've had to get in a render all the way out there in front of you. That's taking up too much of my screen. So let's say, It's really hard to tell where I'm aiming at. It's actually, I might get lucky, and I might be able to just recycle the aim rotations. No, I'm not going to get that lucky. It did get me close, though. Let's try 70. I think I'm going to have to scale. Yeah, I'm going to have to scale this down. So let's go ahead and do the same thing we did here, and we're going to store the scale. Oh, that is good. There we go. I can actually see it. It's not taking up my whole camera angle. And this needs to be completely rotated. It actually might be 130 just like the other one. Just might be positive. And the only thing I wish I could do with this is I wish I had enough patience and I would build an arm render for this so you could see your hand and everything. But I'm not going to do that. Instead, we're going to push the translation back a little bit here. Not quite there, so I want to do 0.2 here. And then I want 0. Yes, reload. Try 0.2. See which one of these is the Y value, because I want to bring it up a little higher. Okay, that's my left or right. We want to leave, actually we want to negative this one, because I want it to be in your corner of your screen. Yeah, that'll work. But I need to get it a little bit higher on the screen as well. Okay, that is actually, so it's this value that is actually the height. Which makes sense, because this is the Y value. Then I need to actually set this to -2. -2f. And we want to bring that back even further, so I should have left it at 4. Because I don't want the player to see the handle, because then if they see the handle, then they'll be like, where's my hand? I want to trick the player into believing this is their hand in some regards. Kind of like a Samus power cannon. Might be a nice mod to work on later. That looks believable. I believe I'm aiming the grappling hook where... Actually, we want to angle it up just ever so slightly. So we'll copy this method. Just by a little amount. Actually, I angled down, so I want to angle up. And then we want to, since we did that, we might as well angle a little closer so we're pointing at the reticle. There we go. That looks nice. This is what I was also talking about when we make this. I want the rope to render from the claw towards the target because it's more believable. But then on any entity you're looking at, it's going to render... right now I've got it rendering from center of mass. I'm going to move it... I want to either do a backpack render or I want to do a center chest render. I can't figure out which one I'd want to do. And if I do either one, I kind of want to do a harness. Because the ideal is that this is meant to render when you don't have it out. Because if you don't have the grappling hook out, I need something that tells you, like, hey, this guy does have a grappling hook. Which I could... Well, I'm not going to render the grappling hook on the player. Even though I do have the ability to do that. I'm not going to do that. Actually, we need to test one last render, which is thrown. Okay. This needs scaled down too. So it looks like all of them need scaled by 9.3, which means I need to tell Morton that his scaling is off. That looks good. Only thing I need to do is translate it by 0.5 in both directions. So that way it's rotating around the center. Which means we'll replace here and 0.5, 0, 0.5. Oh, that didn't work. Maybe I need to do negative. Luckily we have a shadow to work with, so one of these is not working properly. I want to say it's this one, the X value. See if I can get above it. It looks okay-ish. One of the values isn't quite right. Let's try just setting this to 0 real quick. Oh, you know what? That worked. So now we get a perfect render right now. So it looks like the gun itself is rotating. It's not rotating around a specific point. It's not perfect. Let's actually sit here and adjust it just a little bit more. Let's go ahead and take this all the way to -1 because I think it's what it needs to be at. That's too far, so it's actually going to be probably 0.9. There we go. Perfect. Looks really, really nice rendering like that. Got a little bit of pink on the handle, so one of the UVs isn't working right. Other than that, it looks nice. And then one thing to point out really quick is that there is an item render still for the inventory. So if I can get my inventory open, that is still an item render. So it's a 2D texture, renders really quick, but then your inventory in your hand, it's a 3D, in the world it's a 3D, and on other entities it's 3D. I'm trying to move all of my mods to this method of style. As I figured out a couple years ago, rendering 3D items in the inventory is very costly. Especially if you fill your entire inventory with rendered 3D items, you'll actually slow down. Well, let's test some physics. Since last time, I've actually been working on the momentum physics, trying to get everything just right. Let's actually work on this. Click. So I get pulled in, and I will swing. You can't control your swing right now, and it doesn't maintain momentum properly. So there's a lot of work left to do, but oh wow, I apparently have grappled a building over here. There are some fixes I still need to work on, but you can do some cool stuff with this. It's a little laggy in some parts, but that's part of the momentum physics I'm going to have to fix, and the ray traces like to fail. But I can see once I get this going pretty good, people can sit here and use this to actually do parkour maps. It is being set up so that way you can pull yourself in. You can then switch and start shooting. As you notice, my momentum is like perfect. I'm not falling, I'm not slipping. It does really good job as long as you're not moving. It's when you're moving, the motion seems to be choppy now. It was working perfectly in the last few videos. But as soon as I started adding the momentum physics are fighting the motion physics. So when you're trying to move on the rope, the momentum is trying to carry you back down. It has special handling, and if you get above the point, it'll turn gravity back on so you'll fall down. And when you're below, gravity is off. What is happening is it's actually pushing you in the X and Z path to try to get you as close as possible to underneath the point. That way you're hanging below it. And eventually, I'm going to get this part working, where when you scroll down, you get released. It's really slow. It's kind of sluggish. I may switch this if you're sneaking, you automatically retract. I'm also trying to think of a quick release key to start using. I'm thinking about using control, which they're seeing me press, which is key 29. But it'll take a while. I may also do double click. Like if you double click, it'll release you. But there's a lot of special handling that goes in that. As you notice, if I double click now, it kind of pulls me towards it, which means I'll have to keep track of how quickly you're clicking, and that'll have to be done client side most likely. But other than that, that's it for the moment, and I'll try to get some more of these videos out here later. I'm keeping up a good progress pace right now with them, but we'll see how that goes.